Today, we're going to step into a high Gothic chamber where a legendary scholar, a guy who knows pretty much everything, is about to aim his soul at the stars. It's a story about a man who has all the knowledge in the world but feels absolutely nothing. And what happens when his desperate search for a heavenly escape gets challenged by a prophet of the earth.
Wow, what a line, right? This single thought just captures Faust's entire crisis perfectly. It's all about ambition, perspective, and that terrifying idea that what we're aiming for, our ultimate goal, might just be the ceiling of a prison we've built for ourselves.
All right, so who is this guy, Faust? Well, he's a scholar who's basically reached the final level of human knowledge. He's an expert in science, art, philosophy, you name it. But instead of feeling fulfilled, he's just empty. Crushed by it, actually. He's not a master of the world. He's more like a ghost haunting his own life, surrounded by wisdom he can't even feel.
And it's interesting, Faust wasn't always this complicated. He actually started out in the 1500s as a pretty simple warning: don't stray from God or you're toast. Then, later, he becomes this tragic hero whose ambition dooms him. But it was the writer Goethe who really turned him into what we think of now, the ultimate symbol of human striving, where the journey, the struggle itself, is the whole point.
So, Faust is in this state of total despair, and that's when he makes his famous deal. The devil himself, Mephistopheles, just pops into his study and offers him a bargain. All the worldly experience, power, and youth he wants, in exchange for his soul.
And get this, here are the exact terms of the deal laid out by Mephistopheles. This isn't just about good versus evil. It's a huge philosophical wager. The devil will be Faust's servant until Faust experiences a moment so perfect, so beautiful, that he begs for it to stop time. The second that happens, his soul is gone. And Faust, he agrees, because he's convinced no moment on earth could ever truly satisfy him.
But Faust's devil isn't the only kind of shadow you can run into on a quest for meaning. Here, we're comparing him to a different figure, Zarathustra's shadow. See, Mephistopheles is an external force. He's actively tempting and mocking Faust. But Zarathustra's shadow, that's an internal void. It's that tired, empty feeling you get when you have no goals left. They're two very different kinds of danger.
Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of our story. Picture Faust standing in his Gothic chamber, moonlight pouring through the stained glass. He's holding a bow, and he's about to shoot an arrow. But he's not aiming at a target. This arrow, fletched with the feathers of reason, is aimed at an idea. It represents his final desperate ambition.
And here it is, his big goal. He shouts that this earth is too small a target. He's not just looking for knowledge anymore. He's aiming for the infinite, the absolute. He's convinced that the only way to cure his emptiness is to completely transcend this world.
But just as he pulls that string back, about to let it fly, the whole scene just shatters. A shadow falls across the floor, and a new figure is standing in the doorway. Zarathustra, a prophet of the earth. And he is definitely not there to help Faust reach the heavens. He's there to stop him.
And Zarathustra doesn't mess around. He doesn't offer a polite debate. He walks right in and immediately confronts Faust, calling his heavenly ambition exactly what it is, a desperate attempt to escape.
And here's Zarathustra's big point, and it is a gut punch. Faust's arrow, he says, isn't a weapon of victory. It's a signal flare of your exhaustion. He's not aiming at the heavens. He's aiming away from himself. He's shooting for the blue beyond because he just can't stand the weight of the brown earth.
This slide just lays out the two opposing worldviews so clearly. On one side, you have Faust, wasting all this energy and longing on some abstract, unreachable, perfect, and on the other side, you have Zarathustra, who says that same energy should be aimed at the possible, at creating a real, tangible future right here on Earth.
This line is the absolute turning point. Do not waste your longing on the perfect. Use it to ignite the possible. It's basically a command to completely re-aim the human soul. Stop looking for some heavenly home to escape to and start building the world you actually want to live in. It's a huge shift from seeking to creating.
So, okay, that's a great line. But it brings up a huge question, right? If Faust isn't supposed to be aiming for the perfect up in the heavens, then what is this new target on Earth? What exactly is the possible?
Zarathustra's answer comes in this really powerful metaphor. He tells Faust to stop thinking of his longing as an arrow he shoots into nothing. Instead, he needs to think of it as a tool, like a spade, that he can use to dig in and cultivate the earth.
And here it is, the new target, the Übermensch, or the Overman. Now, this isn't a god or an angel in the sky. It's the goal for humanity's earthly future, a new kind of human being who creates their own values, who has stared nihilism in the face and overcome it, and who embraces all of life, right here on the ground.
Zarathustra tells him, be the hammer, not the spark. In other words, stop waiting around for inspiration to strike from some distant heaven, and become the force that forges the future yourself. The purpose of all your longing isn't to find a god, but to help give birth to the Overman, to become a bridge to what humanity can be next.
And in this incredible moment of clarity, Faust gets it. He totally understands. And as you see here, he takes 3 symbolic actions. First, he snaps that arrow of reason, his old way of thinking. Second, he literally turns his back on the stars. And finally, he aims his heart not at the sky, but at the noon, the highest point of earthly, real existence.
So, what happens to the devil in all this? To Mephistopheles? He just vanishes, poof, in a cloud of sulfurous boredom. And why? Because his entire business model is selling heavenly escapes and perfect moments. The second Faust commits to an earthly purpose, the devil has nothing left to sell him. He's just irrelevant.
And this is the last powerful piece of instruction Zarathustra leaves him with. The heavens are empty, but the earth is hungry. Stop aiming all that longing at the sky. Aim it at the soil and then watch the future. Watch the Overman grow from the very ground you used to hate.
And so we're going to end by turning that question back to you, because this whole story is really an allegory for our own lives. It's asking all of us to take a hard look at our own ambitions. So, what arrow are you shooting? Are you aiming for some abstract beyond just to escape the challenges of right here, right now? Or what earth is waiting right under your feet for you to just pick up a spade and start digging?